All right, cool. I see you both there, Dennis and Lucas. All right. Yeah, welcome everyone to the Zeta Chain Protocol AMA. We're going to share some updates on Zeta Chain 2.0 upgrades. Uh, if you want to follow along, check our pinned tweet for the full Zeta Chain 2.0 spec and what the community is trying to build towards. Purpose of this uh, session is to answer your tech questions about 2.0 and how Zeta Chain blockchain works in general. So yeah, we'll continue to do these check-ins. We'll take the first 10 or 15 minutes here just to go through a status update on things. This week, most notably, v16 just went live on testnet, which is pretty cool. We'll talk about the features included in that and why that matters and some of the next steps on v16. So delighted to have Lucas Bertrand on the stage, core contributor to Zeta Chain Protocol, and then the familiar voice, Dennis Vadiv, core contributor for developer experience. Hey guys, thanks for joining.
Hey,
Hello.
Good stuff. So, yeah, I think it's pretty fresh, the Zeta Chain 2.0 release, and I think it'd be helpful to just walk through the components of the universal EVM stack. Um, and for those listening, if you go to the pinned tweet at Zeta Chain, you can check out this graphic of the universal EVM stack, and we're gonna have more educational information come out about this. But like high level, maybe one of you wants to walk through these different components. You let me know the best way to start, like bottom up or top down with universal apps.
Yeah, I guess I can start from kind of developer point of view, from a point of view of a person who is building apps on Zeta Chain. So we kind of decided with this update uh, to to rethink what it means to build applications on Zeta Chain. And um, previously, we kind of focused more on the omni-chain aspect of apps, which I think is still the case, right? The apps you're building on Zeta Chain are omni-chain by default, meaning they can be accessed by users from any blockchain. Um, but with the addition of messaging um, that you can use from these omni-chain apps, I think like the power that these apps get is much more now, right? So it kind of we had to come up with a different name for this, right? That encapsulates the functionality a bit better, and we decided to call them universal apps, um, meaning that not only users from any chain can interact with them, but these universal applications can um, trigger sequence of complex actions on other blockchains, right? So, for example, you can, as a Bitcoin user, you can um, send your BTC to a universal app on Zeta Chain. It can then, um, uh, I don't know, stake it, for example, or swap it for a different token, then move the value to Ethereum, do something there, go back. So the focus here, I think, is more on kind of the orchestration aspect rather than just being omni-chain. At least that's my interpretation. And I think, yeah, I'm super excited about this feature. I think it's something that has been requested by developers who want to have this capability to trigger smart contracts calls from Zeta Chain on other chains. And now that it's available, yeah, really excited to see what people build.
Cool. Yeah, and let's click into that. So, um, I think you're talking about the cross-chain messaging and triggering contracts on other chains. Uh, Lucas, you want to explain what that feature is and how this is upgraded from Zeta Chain 1.0 messaging and what devs are used to?
Yeah, sure. So I can provide some context from a protocol development standpoint. So as Dennis mentioned, so far we had like some uh, in some way distinct solutions for cross-chain messaging, which is one zero-chain message passing, where two external chain will exchange, relay, send arbitrary data to between those, and zero-chain will more like behave like a relay between those two external chains. And the other solution is omni-chain smart contract, where from an external chain you call smart contracts on that chain, and that chain doesn't call smart contracts on external chain, but behave more like orchestrators that will manage assets on the external chain. So you call the smart contract the omni-chain smart contract on that chain, and then you can move assets on external chains. And the idea in this upgrade is to do some kind of merging between the two concepts, where no, from Zerachain, you will also be able to call smart contracts and exchange arbitrary data to an external chain. So there is some kind of merging of those two distinct solutions. And if we can talk about the upgrades that we are doing right now. So the current release that we've done and that we upgrade on testnet v16 is like groundwork for this idea of merging the two concepts. So the main features that we are doing here is the ability to perform message passing, sending data to an external chain and calling smart contracts from that chain. And so this is the first part. Then the overall vision at the end will also be to not only send the chain to call smart contract on external chain, but also manipulate assets, sending ERC20s or the gas token from that chain to an external chain and call smart contract. So this would move toward this vision of the chain being a universal EVM, if this makes sense. And yeah, so there is v16, the groundwork for this, where we enable this idea of the chain calling smart contracts on external chain by sending data, doing what we initially consider as message passing. And then the next upgrade will be enabling this, but with the chain native asset. So it will enable to the end user, the developers, any kind of interactions. So you send Bitcoin to that chain, you call smart contracts on that chain, then you can withdraw Ethereum to Ethers to Ethereum and then call a smart contract on Ethereum. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that future state that you were describing, I think that is the omni-chain accounts upgrade, and that is a focus area on the next thing. Am I understanding right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Anybody have questions on protocol or Zeta Chain tech in general? Doesn't need to be about 2.0 specifically, but feel free to raise your hands and can start to get you guys involved. I'll look out for any questions from y'all. So yeah, it's live on testnet this week, and it looks like blocks are being produced and things are functioning okay. Any learning so far about how this is functioning on testnet?
Well, I've just tested Sepolia to Zeta Chain and back, so it all works as expected. Pretty cool. So if you are a developer, check out the docs. There is a um, uh, cross-chain messaging tutorial. Um, it's a pretty simple one, just for sending text between blockchains. So previously, you weren't able to send arbitrary data to or from Zeta Chain. Now you can. So you can literally just use the same exact tutorial, but now, um, yeah, it includes Zeta Chain.
Very cool. And yeah, so it's good to deploy on testnet to see how things work in practice and optimize things. Audits are happening. Curious how you guys approach graduating functionality into the mainnet protocol, and uh, what are some of the steps involved, and how we think about that. Lucas, maybe from the protocol side.
Yeah, so we have very rigorous testing and development processes before going to mainnet, and yeah, delivering new features to mainnet. So if you take the protocol development itself, so we have regular like CI processes that you would have in software in general, software engineering in general, like unit testing, integration test for the new features that we're developing, and also end-to-end testing on local environments. So if you check the Zchain node source codes, you can yourself like spin up local test environments that will spin up local Zchain, a local Ethereum chain, and a local Bitcoin chain, and you can yourself test the new features that we're developing. And so at any stage in development, we are running those local tests where we will test the functionality on local networks. Then there is further testing where we will basically spin up those contracts on the new contracts that we're developing on the testnet network, where we'll be able to test the new features on real live networks. Then once all of this passed, we move forward and we make the new Zeta Chain blockchain release. We, through governance proposal, upgrades the testnets using this release. Then we run all of those end-to-end tests that we've run on local environments on the testnet, so we can again validate all the new features, the specifications that we have on testnets. And then once all of this is validated, we move forward and make the actual upgrade on mainnet. And then once mainnet, the release is live on mainnet, we again run all of those tests on mainnet, so everything can be validated at any stage. And yeah, that's the general where we move forward.
Very cool. Yeah. And if any engineers are listening, you can contribute to all of these conversations in GitHub. Even if you're not an engineer, there's all sorts of explorations about chain integrations and new features, and analyzing what users care about in the space and what you want to see on Zeta Chain. That kind of qualitative feedback is super helpful. Looks like Rajiv has a question. Let me approve you. Hey, Rajiv. You're on the stage. Oh, now he's back to listener. Yeah, we're open for questions. If anyone has questions on Zeta Chain 2.0 and this v6 upgrade that we are talking through with the protocol contributors, just go ahead and raise your hand. Couple other topics. So, like, Zeta Chain 2.0 talks about a push towards better Bitcoin compatibility, and it looked like there are some additional script types that um, Zeta Chain is looking to support to increase compatibility with Bitcoin. Uh, Maybe you could walk through what that means exactly and how that will help with Bitcoin accessibility and um, that integration.
Yeah. So we used to support only native SegWit, native SegWit addresses format on Bitcoin. So you were only able to withdraw basically if you had Bitcoin using Bitcoin on their chain and then want to withdraw back to the Bitcoin network, you need to use a SegWit's native address. I know we've extended the format of addresses that are supported, and yeah, in particular, we support Bitcoin legacy addresses and taproot format address. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Cool.
If you want like the extensive details regarding like what is the script specifically that we support, you can also check the change logs in the blockchain source codes where we put all of the details on this.
Thanks. Yeah, so as new Bitcoin wallets support Zeta Chain, like Dennis, you just added the Unisat example in the docs. Um, does this mean that they'll be able to support those additional script types out of the box?
Yeah, I mean, it's still dependent on wallets, but we are increasing the number of wallets we not support, but like have been tested basically because I'm sure there are a lot of wallets out there that are compatible with Zeta Chain. We just haven't tested them and haven't added them to the docs because there's just so many wallets, right? But we like to use XDeFi, right? It has been the recommended wallet for a while now, but we've added Unisat, and it works both programmatically, so it can be used to build web applications. You can sign transactions, or you can use the wallet itself to manually send transactions if that's your thing. And we're going to be adding Xverse as well. They don't support sending memos directly from their extension, but they support programmatic signing, which arguably is more important because nobody should really manually format their memos because it's a very error-prone process. You should really do that on a client-side application and just send the data to the user for signing. So yeah, we're gonna have like 3 wallets, and if you know any wallets that are popular and have memo support on Bitcoin, let us know, and we'll consider them and add to the docs as well.
Yep. The idea is you're a Bitcoin user on Bitcoin, and you should be able to use the wallet you already have and like. And yeah, Unisat is live in the dock, so developers can start to integrate that Bitcoin wallet. We haven't released the partnership publicly yet, so that will come soon. And then you heard about Xverse. Hopefully, we can talk about that on ecosystem update next week. Um, so yeah, good stuff. Um, yeah, listeners, feel free to raise your hand and ask questions on Zeta Chain tech and this cross-chain messaging upgrade, or anything about how the protocol works while we have these guys on the stage. Um, so I'll look out for hands. I guess the last thing, as we look at v17 and some of the upcoming things you guys are focused on, um, what's coming and why does that matter for the Zeta Chain ecosystem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So outside of what we already mentioned about having the cross-chain capabilities of the chain more general, in the sense you can call smart contracts from that chain, send gas assets to Excel chain and call smart contracts. There are also some other general improvement that we're doing in the protocol. Well, first, there are improvements we're doing that are not user-facing, I would say. Part of each upgrade that we're doing. So we're working on new features, there are new features, but we also in general continuously improving the architecture, the low-level architecture of the protocol. And to be more specific on this, right now we are working on improving the control flow of cross interactions inside the protocol. So to be more specific, we are making a clear distinction between what we would call the transport layer and the application layer. So right now, when you send cross interaction from, let's say, Ethereum to their chain, that would then withdraw it on Bitcoin. So you will have involved in the protocol what we call a transport layer and the application layer. The transport layer, right now we use observer sets, so a set of observers that will check, reads new inbound transaction for Ethereum. You initiate the cross transaction on Ethereum, there will be events emitted on Ethereum, and then you will have an observer set on that chain that will read this transaction to create a new cross interaction. So this is a transport layer, and the application layer from this cross interaction you call a smart contract on that chain. So there is the part of the protocol that will call, process the cross interaction, and make the state transition from the smart contract call. This is the application layer. And a big part that we're doing in the protocol design right now, it's making improvement, a clear distinction between those two parts, which will be not like user-facing, but it's a general big improvement that we're doing in the design of a blockchain that will make the code in general more organized, more modular, and also more maintainable, which is also very interesting if some people, some developers want also to collaborate in the protocol development work, also on any kind of issues that we would have in the protocol. So there is this work that we're doing. And to introduce another big integration, big features that we're gonna have in the future, it will be IBC integration. So you will be from a Cosmos chain, you have the ability to interact with that chain. So not defined yet what Cosmos chain to be integrated, but let's say from the Cosmos Hub, as an example, you will be able to make a omni-chain smart contract call to that chain, and then, for example, withdraw Bitcoins on a Bitcoin network. And this is, something enabled by this, what I was talking about, separating transport and application layers into that chain protocol. So the application, whether you interact with the IBC chain or Ethereum, the application layer will be the same in the sense you make an omni-chain smart contract call, you call smart contracts that chain. The transport layer will be different. On one side, you will have the observer set reading transaction on Ethereum, and on the other, we will use directly IBC protocol to make the omni-chain smart contract call from Cosmos chain. IBC, if you are familiar with it, which is a permissionless cross-chain communication protocol. that in general is enabled in Cosmos chains, which is no more becoming extended to other ecosystems. It's the primary the main cross-chain communication protocol you have in the Cosmos ecosystem. Yeah, so the v17, the future upgrades that we'll be doing, there are general low-level improvements in the design of protocol that we're doing, and this will also enable new integration. So IBC integration is an example there. There are also other chain integration that we're considering right now, which aren't determined yet.
Very exciting. And yeah, I think next time we do one of these, we'll have some more updates on the IBC Zeta Chain transport layer. And you guys are the ones to talk to everything Cosmos IBC from some of your past experiences. So pumped about that. Rajiv, one last shot if you want to ask a question. Or if you just want to be a speaker on the stage, that's cool too. An open call for last questions from the audience on Zeta Chain tech and some of these upgrades we're talking through. All right, cool. Dennis, I'll give the last word to you as these things go live on testnet and new features come out. You're doing a lot of great work bringing it to life in the docs and building tutorials around this functionality. I think you've already built new stuff around the new cross-chain messaging upgrade. Anything you want to call out on that front and focus areas this week into next week?
Yeah, so we've recently added a new tutorial on ERC20 tokens. So it's a fairly common use case where you mint an ERC20 token on one chain and you want users to be able to move it to a different blockchain. So that's now in the docs. You can check it out. It's very straightforward. It just takes like 10 lines of code. So within 30 minutes, you can go through this tutorial. So very, very happy about that. And also, I'm really looking forward to using both kind of omni-chain messaging in one app. So a more complex, more advanced tutorial that I think our developers will also like to kind of see these two technologies merge into what we call universal apps. So yeah, I'm currently looking into what kind of tutorial would fit this use case best. Yeah, right now I'm thinking about kind of sending tokens from any blockchain and then swapping them to Zeta and then withdrawing to a different chain and then swapping to any other token. So you should be able, as a Bitcoin user, for example, to send literally any token to anyone on any connected chain, which includes Ethereum, Zeta Chain, and BSC.
Cool. One last question coming in. Ben the cat, hello and welcome. Up, back to a listener. Ben the cat is shy. Well, yeah, Dennis, congrats on the stack up results. By the way, we just tweeted after our 4-month educational campaign with Stack Up, we saw 6,000 developers join and tons of submissions. So there's going to be a lot more coursework to be had with the OmniChain 2.0 functionality and just continuing dev education for building these OmniChain dApps. Ben the cat, did you have a question at the last hour here?
Yeah, I have a question. Can I ask my question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, sorry. How does the acceleration network utilize load balancing? to manage incoming internet traffic effectively, especially during a peak usage period or unusual peak inactivity.
Dennis, Lucas, did you guys catch that about load balancing?
So the question is now,
Yeah,
is it
it's about all about load balancing on the internet, like internet traffic in your website. How to manage the load balancing.
Yeah, that might not directly be related to to Zeta Chain 2.0 or Zeta Chain at all, for that matter, unless I'm missing something. So the question was about load balancing on websites. Not an expert on this, so I'm afraid I can't comment.
We'll have to bring in DevOps next time. I think there are some tools that they use, like Cloudflare, maybe, to help with traffic and security. Yeah, Ben, if you want to shoot your question in the comments, we'll reply back with an answer for you.
I will do that right away.
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, one more question from Victor. Let me bring you to the stage. Victor, you're on the stage. Any questions about Zeta Chain Protocol and the 2.0 upgrades? We lost him. All right, guys, I think we can wrap it there. Next week, we're going to rotate and go through ecosystem updates. I'll bring in some contributors from that side. The following Zeta Chain product, which I think everyone is most curious to learn
Hello,
about.
sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Victor, go for it.
Yeah, thank you for giving me opportunity. Can I ask my question?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, my question is, what are your marketing strategies and program? What you plan to attract new users?
I didn't quite catch that, and it's best to ask question about protocol or Zeta Chain technology.
Yeah. My question. Can I ask one more? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I? Yeah. My question is, what are your marketing strategies and program? What you plan to attract new users?
Sorry, Victor, I didn't quite catch that. If it's about marketing, we can chat next week on the ecosystem call. Let me bring up Amar, and then we'll wrap up the spaces here. Amar, you're on the stage. Oh. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it there. Dennis and Lucas, thanks so much for joining. I know you guys have a busy day, so we'll let you get back to it. And listeners, thanks for joining, and we'll do another protocol AMA next month. Cheers and have a good day.
Thank you.